Hello and welcome to Thoughts from the Kitchen Table on Friday, the 21st of August. Names are a funny thing. Every year as a teacher, I get a class full of new names, and I always think I won't remember them. Sometimes I do call them by their brothers or sisters if I've taught them, but then that sometimes can happen even at home here. We call the wrong names. These names are known around the world: Ford, Hilton, Walt Disney. The symbols are so often the world puts pressure on us to make a name for ourselves, to achieve, to be first on sports day, to be the best at our job, to achieve all we works in the opposite way. He so often accomplishes his greatest blessing with the insignificant people, the ordinary people, the people who others maybe just don't notice. The disciples were ordinary men, fishermen, tax collectors, but chosen to accompany Jesus himself on his mission in God's guidance, even when circumstances seemed unbelievable. One of my favourite Bible characters of all was seen as quite insignificant in many ways, more of a background character, a supporting role, and that's Barnabas. Barnabas means son of encouragement. An encourager is someone who lifts others up, who speaks up for others, an advocate. When Barnabas and Paul went on their missionary journey with John Mark, the Bible tells us that John Mark deserted them. So when it came time to go again, Paul didn't want John Mark to come with them. But Barnabas the encourager, stood up for John Mark and gave him a second chance, going with him on a second journey. To be like Barnabas, we can be the one who defends others who maybe someone else wouldn't defend. We can make sure others get credit when they might otherwise be ignored. To be like Barnabas, we can work to include those who aren't. I don't know about you, but I'm so thankful for the encouragers in my life. My life has been so richly blessed by encouragers quietly working in the background, praying. Barnabas is not a big, notorious Bible character, but he made a big difference to those who were. Even Paul himself. Behind every preacher, writer, missionary are the voices quietly encouraging behind the scenes. When the devil takes away the encourager, it affects many. And in the same way, when the encourager is filled with God's hope and truth, many are strengthened. Be encouraged, encourager, because when you do that small act, you're doing the very work God himself loves to do. He used the humble life of his precious Son, the Lord Jesus, and his humiliating death on the cross to save the world from sin, to save me, to save you, and any life that is connected to Jesus will make a difference. John 15 verse 5 says this: I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides in me and I in him bears much fruit, for without me you can do nothing. Jesus reached out to the lepers and the outcasts, to those who could give nothing in return. Quite often we can feel that we have nothing to give, but with Jesus in our life, we can make a difference, even in smaller and mightier ways than you can imagine. How comforting that we don't need to be great to be useful to God. We don't need to be well known. We just need to be willing. We just need to trust him and to listen. Why not put your trust in our Jesus today? The one who uses the insignificant things, the one who accepts us with all our flaws, needs, worries, failures. You matter to Jesus. He loves you and he wants to make a difference. He wants to make the difference in your life. So much so that he died on the cross so that we could live. Christians, as we head back to some kind of normal, as we head back to school, to work, we might feel overwhelmed. We might feel almost insignificant. So let's encourage a difference. And remember, that we can show Jesus' love in our lives and through our lives. But God hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and God hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. My dad, as I've shared over the last couple of weeks, had a very difficult life before he was saved, and he felt quite unloved because he wasn't proud of how he was living his life. And as he gave his testimony, he always sang, "There's no other friend as kind as he. No one else could take the sin and darkness from me. Oh, how much he cared for me." Should we be surrounded by no one or by everyone? It doesn't make a difference because Jesus cares. He cares for you and he cares for me. And he loves you just the way you are. So put your trust in him today. It doesn't matter who we are. It matters who he is. And he's ready and willing and wanting to save you. God bless.